Welcome back, everybody, to IGN Live here at the YouTube gaming stage at PAX Prime. I'm Damon Hatfield. This is Mitch Dyer. We're joined by Lee Petty from Double Fine.
Hi.
Here to tell us all about Double Fine's next game, Headlander. Lay it on us.
All right. So Headlander is a side-scrolling action-adventure game that is set in a future world that looks like it might have been designed in the 1970s.
Okay.
And it's a world of automation, and all of humanity has given up their physical flesh bodies and instead inhabit robotic bodies. And the whole world is ruled by an evil computer called Methuselah. And the player character finds their way into this world as the last living organic human in the universe, but they're just a head. And they've been given a special helmet that lets them fly around the world and land into bodies and take control or hack into computer panels and override systems and all sorts of other crazy, surprising things.
Yeah, that's, for me, like, the thing that's most interesting to me about Headlander, you have all of these systems in place, right? Like, it's a complicated game because there's a lot to do, but it's not, like, terribly challenging to understand. Like, you pop off your head. Okay, now you're free to explore and pop out vents and go explore new areas, pop off anybody's head that you want and occupy their body, and that changes the way you move around, the kind of conversations you have. Like you mentioned when I visited the studio and was able to see the game early. Like, tell me a little bit about that. Like, how does occupying a new body change the way the game plays?
Yeah, so, you know, there are different types of entities that you can headland into, and some of them are citizens, and they, you know, basically let you feel about the backstory of the game by interacting with other citizens and kind of making your way through the space. But then there are shepherds, which are sort of the robotic police force of the future. And when you land into one of them, they each have a security clearance based on the colors of the spectrum. So it goes like red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet. So I paid attention in school.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the only thing I remember. And so red being the weakest and violet being the strongest. And that lets them access different areas of the space stations that you play in. And they shoot lasers that match that color, and they bounce, and the number of times they bounce is equal to their power level. So a red laser will bounce once, an orange laser will bounce twice, and so forth.
So by the time you're breaking into like high security level things, it's madness.
Yeah, it gets pretty crazy, you know, and like we not only bounce lasers everywhere, there are ways that you can split them. So you could bounce laser 5 times, hit a splitter, and it can split off and bounce again. And you know, one of the reasons we can do that is that the player, when their body is damaged, they can head launch off that body before it explodes and go and try and find another one. So you're kind of vulnerable when you're in this head mode, but at the same time, it gives you this sort of extra power that no one else in the world has.
So you've got, I mean, there's kind of a lot going on. It's a lot to digest. Like, you look at this footage and it's like, okay, I understand this beautiful 1970s sort of Buck Rogers, Logan's Run aesthetic. It's very colorful, it's vibrant. There's this head floating around. You've got all these cover shooting systems. You've also got like a lot of really cool puzzles that I liked a lot. Like, what was the gem security sequence that you showed us?
Yeah, so, you know, one of the things that we have going on is the computer's always scanning and trying to keep the citizens in line by, you know, the way that future computers always do, right? And we saw that sequence you're referring to is when you kind of hit one of these scanners, they detect that you're not the normal citizenry of the world, and they put the room on lockdown. And so in that situation, you do have to engage in combat, but then you also have to figure out how to get out of this room. And so a lot of our puzzles are about finding secret locations with head flying and landing into systems and manipulating them in some ways, change the environment to your advantage.
Can I play the entire game as the dog? Because that's really how I would prefer to play.
That would be an amazing achievement. You can play as a dog. Yeah, there is a dog. Maybe not the entire game. They're not exactly the most vicious combat.
Sure, yeah.
You know, but,
I want to play the entire game as that snowman that we saw back there. Just pop your head on and sit there for 5-6 hours and let everything play out the way it was meant to.
We call him Frosty the Observer.
Oh, of course.
Because he's part of the computer monitoring system.
Good.
They kind of all are.
Yeah.
Which I love. Yeah, I love this sci-fi world you guys have, right? Like, it's very quirky and funny, but at the same time, you're hitting on a lot of this familiar sci-fi themes, like, you know, you are being watched.
Yes.
And I love the kind of story you guys have set up. Tell me a little bit about this space station. Like, what is this world? What's going on here? And what are we ultimately trying to achieve?
So, you know, and one of the things I love about 1970s science fiction, which is kind of where we drew all of our inspiration from, was the fact that people were still kind of figuring out humanity's relationship with technology, right?
Yeah.
They're sort of like, is it going to be good or evil? I think we all decided it was going to be evil. And usually it's done in such like a naive way. It's kind of funny, kind of charming to go back and look at that science fiction.
Yeah.
And so we kind of wanted to tap into that where, yeah, of course you're the last human left in the galaxy. You've got a head, and that's all you need to take down the world's most evil computer, right? So you kind of, the mystery is to kind of why you're there and why the computer's after you and why humanity chose to give up their bodies is in sort of classic sci-fi way. That's the sort of thing you uncover by playing the game. And you get little hints along the way. And we try and do a lot of indirect storytelling. We don't like force feed it to the players. We kind of give them time to kind of explore the space stations and moon bases and other things we kind of let you play through and find it for themselves. And you can get little snippets by headlanding into old like data banks and listening to centuries old news broadcasts and go, oh wait, so maybe now it's 300 years in the future, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, maybe it's 50. I'm not sure.
Well,
So when are we all going to get to play Headlander?
We're going to be releasing in 2016
Okay.
on consoles and PC and Mac.
that is also the future, Damon.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
The future is just around the corner. Lee, thank you so much for coming by the show.
You bet.
Everybody stay tuned. We have so many more games to show you from PAX right after this.